All right, here's a quick little video about exponent rules, kind of a review for some of the things here. I'm not sure if some of them new or not. If we look at adding and subtracting here, right, when we're adding and subtracting, you want to combine like terms. You do not change the common variable or the exponent, okay? So combining like terms is just adding and subtracting the numbers in front. See in number one, 9x to the second y minus 10x to the second y. Because they both have x to the second y, that makes them like terms. You simply just take 9 minus 10 and get negative 1. Then you bring your like terms part way, x to the second y, okay? Number 2 says subtract 6w from 8w. That's a turnaround phrase of subtracting from, so it's actually 8w minus 6w, which gives us 2w. Okay, product rule. When you are multiplying the bases are the things with the exponent. So you have a base of x, and then this is just an algebra thing. We've seen really typical in here. So whenever you're multiplying like bases, you add the exponent. So this is x to the a plus b. That's the product rule when multiplying. Look at this example, number 1. My base is h, my exponents are 2 and 6. We add them together and get h to the 8th power. Okay? When you have coefficients, right? This is a coefficient, meaning it's a number in front. It is not the base. You actually multiply those together. Negative 2 times 7 gives us negative 14. Then I look at my like bases. Here I have a base A raised to the second, base A raised to the third. We add those exponents together. So I get A to the 2 plus 3 is 5. And then my last one is B, of a base of B. If you don't see an exponent, it's okay to write a 1 here, but there's 1B there. And the exponent just tells you how many there are. There's 1. So B is the first times B is the first gives me B to the second, because 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, when you're multiplying, you add the exponent. All right, the power rule says when you're raising an exponent or a base, whatever, when you're raising a base with an exponent to a power, you actually multiply. You just get multiplied together. You just get added together, okay? So it's a little different. So this is the x to the a times b. I know the little rule part is like weird, but when we look at examples, it's not so bad. Here in number 1, I'm taking x to the second and I'm raising it to the third power. So I am multiplying 2 times 3. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. So this is x to the sixth power. When you have coefficients, meaning the number in front that does not have an exponent, you actually raise that to the second power. Be careful if it's negative, because it's really negative 2 raised to the second power. If you don't put it in parentheses, the calculator doesn't know that you're squaring the negative. Because negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. All right, now when I raise an exponent to a power, I multiply. So 2 times 5 is 10. Is 10 to the 10th. Bring down this times n to the third. Now we have to apply the product rule with those two. Product rule says we add exponents. When we multiply, we add. Power to power, we multiply. So n10 times n to the third gives me n to the 13th. I'm just using different colors to kind of illustrate what I'm doing. Hopefully this makes sense. And I'm not going to. All right, quotient rule. Quotient just means dividing. Let me just write this up underneath. So product rule means we're multiplying and we add exponents. Power rule says raising to a power and we multiply exponents. When we use the quotient rule, we're actually dividing and if you think about multiplication and division are opposites, well, if you add when you multiply, you're going to subtract when you divide. Okay, so here I have x to the a divided by x to the b. This is x to the a minus b. I always subtract the bottom number from the top. If you look at this example, If you have coefficients, you actually have to divide those. So 27 divided by 42 does not turn into a nice number. It's a fraction. So if you just use the ABC button, 27 ABC 42, you get 914. That's the number part. Now we need to subtract the exponent. Remember, see on the denominator it's 42x, that's 42x to the first. So I'm dividing x to the fifth by x to the first. We subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4. So x to the first. All right, let's look at the second example. Here I'm like combining a little bit. We're raising a power to a power. So 2 times 2 is 4. Y to the fourth over y to the fourth. Well, 4 minus 4 is 0. Y to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Don't forget that. Now here's another one that really does get everybody a little upset. Negative exponents. They just need to change location. If they're negative in the denominator, move them to the numerator, and then they're positive. If they're negative in the numerator, move them to the denominator, and they're positive. Here, this is really like over 1, kind of. So we move it down below. I always say, oh, negative exponents are so sad, and they want to be happy, so they come down here, and they're like, yay, I'm taking away from positive. It's lovely. They just move. I don't really like this little cookie, okay? All right, so let's look at a real example. Negative numbers are totally fine. Look at number 1. Has a coefficient of -5. That is staying. This has to go down below and rewrite it with a positive exponent. So -5 over x squared. Here we have coefficients. We want to reduce or simplify. 4 divided by 8 is 0.5 or 1/2. Then I have k to the second divided by k to the fifth. 2 minus 5 is k to the negative third power. Well, I can't have negative exponents, so this k has got to go down below with the 2. Okay? So that's how you write it with positive exponents. All right, last property of exponents is the zero exponent rule, which I already just said. Anything to the 0 power, I don't care how big, how small, whatever it is, if it's in parentheses and a grade with 0 power, it is 1. Okay? Here, the 7 doesn't change, but x to the 0 is 1, and 7 times 1, don't like that my pen is dragging. 7 times 1 is the 7. Okay? When I use the power rule, we multiply these together. So I have w to the 8th over w to the 8th. This is division. We subtract. 8 minus 8 is 0. So this is w to the 0 power, which is 1. Hallelujah. Hopefully that helped. If it didn't, send me a message and I will see if I can't find some more practice stuff for you. All right. Have a good one. Bye.